Every newspaper needs a Clark Kent for their Superman. The Myrtle Beach Herald has a superwoman, and that's Betty Moses. Meet her, coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at People's Underwriters in Carolina Forest. We're focused on the Myrtle Beach Herald and one of its principal columns, My Senior Moment. I was about to say we're focused on My Senior Moment. That wouldn't sound right. We're visiting with the Myrtle Beach Herald's copy editor, Betty Moses.
Good morning.
Good morning, Betty. And of course our longtime columnist now. It sounds strange saying long time, but 2.5 years.
It's amazing.
That's a long time. And
when I did my first, and you asked me to do more, I thought maybe 3 I can get out.
Yeah.
And so been able to do
more than 100 now.
Almost 2.5 years now.
That's almost 130. Isn't that
Right.
amazing, Betty? That is right at 130. Yeah. So you really never thought you had it in you.
I had no idea I had it in me.
But of course you've been thinking you've got a book in you. I mean, that's something that you've been working towards. Of course, we'll talk about that later in the interview, what you're aspiring towards over the next few years. But what about the title, My Senior Moment, Betty? How did that come about?
Well, it's really, my column is more about things not to do rather than what to do. It's the things you get into and the boo-boos you make. And it's not about how to do this.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of senior moments, so I might as well
share
put them
with
out
others.
there. Yeah.
Right. Well, you don't have so many that you can't remember to write them down, which is great. You obviously know what you're thinking about, and you get pen to paper very well, which is great.
Well, it's hard. I can't do it until I'm right under deadline.
Yeah.
I have to get up in the morning and do it desperately.
Yes. Of course, last night you were up all night. We really appreciate you getting in. And I know Tuesday nights at the Myrtle Beach Herald, like many community newspapers or weekly newspapers, are crazy nights for the copy editor, the layout person, the person that's putting it all together. But before we get into that, real quick about yourself. Are you originally from the area, Betty?
I moved here from Western North Carolina. I'm a North Carolina girl.
Right.
Bred and born, and lived in Maryland, and I've lived in Miami, but till I moved here, it was a North Carolina girl.
So 4 states, the Tar Heel State, Florida, Maryland, and now the Palmetto State.
South Carolina.
Yeah. Do you still have family in Western North Carolina?
I have a lot of cousins up there. All the older ones are gone now, but I have a lot of cousins there.
You have fond memories of your childhood up there, Betty?
Oh, yes. Every kid should live in the country at least part of their life.
Yeah.
And I had like 3 years in the country, and that's the best part.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Anything that sticks out in your mind from those years? I know, of course, we want to talk later about returning back to North Carolina after living in Miami and having worked with the loggers, the Cherokee, and otherwise. But what, anything that sticks out in your mind that you still think about today?
Well, it was just, I love being out in the woods. My cousins and I stayed in the woods, and it was just a nice, pure, innocent time. I mean, it was carefree.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. Have you written about that at all?
Not really. I have referred a time or two, to in the columns about how much fun it was, and it was a good experience to think back on.
Absolutely.
Of course, that's all changed now too.
The Western North Carolina's changed a good bit.
Oh yes.
That's a very good point. And you actually but later in life, you raised some of your children there in Western North Carolina?
Yes, we went after I left Miami. I went back to Silva and lived for about 12 years there.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, so you were there a good bit during your adult years.
Right.
Right. What brought you down to South Carolina, Betty?
Well, my daughter's husband graduated from college, and he went with W.T. Grant, which had a big store in North Myrtle Beach. So they were transferred there, and me and the boys would come down and visit my daughter, and we had such a good time. And 2 years later, we moved down.
Is that right?
2 years later, my parents moved down.
Really? Now, when you say me and the boys, this was more than just you and one son. This was not two or three
Me
sons.
and the 5 sons.
You and 5 sons moved down after your daughter. So 1 girl and 5 boys. Is your daughter the oldest?
Yes.
Wow. And when you had your first daughter, I mean, when you had your first child and it happened to be a girl, did you think, if I have any more children, it'll probably be a girl? Or did you think the ball was rolling? Did you ever yearn for a boy?
Yeah, of course, when we were having the second one, you know, we hoped it would be.
Right.
Not, you know, not desperately.
Yeah.
And then it was boy and boy and boy and boy.
And boy, yeah. That's amazing, Betty. What's that like raising, 6 children, but 5 sons?
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's fun. We had,
yeah.
when they were small, of course, we were in the mountains and we went hiking, we went camping.
Right.
Just really enjoyed it there.
Break down those ages, if you don't mind, give us an idea. Your oldest child, your daughter.
My daughter's
Becky,
52.
She's 52,
The next son is 48.
Right.
The next one is...
Not to put you on the spot, but...
45.
Right.
42.
Right.
And 35.
Wow,
I think I didn't
more.
leave any out.
52, 48, 45, 42, 35. There's one more, not to put you on the spot. It's my senior moment. I love it.
Okay, he's 40.
Okay, that's great. He's going to be happy that he was at least brought in, but you can blame it on a couple of... You know, of course, your late night last night, Betty. Last night, I know you were up all night, and of course, this week's paper is a big one.
Yeah, so that's the bags under the eyes today.
Right, I know. It's amazing all the time you put in there at the Herald, but it really is front-loaded, fortunately, early in the week. The Monday, Tuesday, today are crazy days for you. That's why I really appreciate you getting out to this morning.
Well, it's an exciting paper this week. We're at the best of the years
coming
being
out
announced
tomorrow. That's right.
With our huge 96-page.
Is it 96 pages,
yes,
Betty? My Lord.
About double last year.
Yeah, exactly double. Last year was 48 pages. Our show sponsor, the Myrtle Beach Herald, of course, the nonprofit of the year will be announced tomorrow. And, of course, folks will see who pulled off the voting on that and gets the $15,000 check, which is a big deal.
Yeah, I know they're eagerly awaiting that.
Yeah. Whoever that is. That's exactly right. Absolutely.
Yes.
You're not going to let out the secret. Yeah, you won't.
My lips are sealed.
Lips are sealed until tomorrow. Everyone will know tomorrow. Obviously, they can pick up the newspaper, any of the area boxes, if they're not already a subscriber, to buy a paper. Of course, a lot of the food lines. I know we just ramped up with CVS coming online, which is very exciting.
That's
of course,
great.
the Piggly Wiggly and Bi-Lo, those opportunities have been tremendous. So folks need to get a copy of tomorrow's Myrtle Beach Herald to see.
This will be special.
Yeah. Betty, what is it about the Herald that you love so much?
Well, I've sort of, I was in, not right at the beginning, but it's about 2 years later, and it's just been real exciting to see how it's grown and just change from year to year.
Yeah,
and it's just a really respected publication now.
Oh, absolutely. To see that, of course, to see some of the new columnists just in the last 4 years, there have been a lot that have come on. That's helped bolster, of course, the page count, as you say. It is really, I think it was back in late 2003, it hovered around 12 to 14, maybe 16 pages, and of course had a much smaller word count. I mean, a lot fewer columns and articles. Of course, your column's one of the newer columns on the block, having a lot of the profiles kicked off, the teammate of the week, the veteran of the week, the public safety profile, the public servant of the week, a lot of those pieces, and then the fitness column, Mary Jo Rogers piece. It's amazing. Of course, for you, they're so intimate to you because you're actually laying them out for all the readers every week.
Yeah, I'm waiting them to come in Monday.
Yeah. Monday is when folks, and this is indicative of all community newspapers that come out on a Thursday, let's say, or even if they came out on a Wednesday or a Friday, it is still that every week coming, as Debbie Harwell says, very fast.
Oh, it does. Just about every other night is Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Because that's the very, very long one. But we have to have stuff concentrated because we come out weekly. We still want it just as fresh.
Right.
So it's necessary to have everything come in right within those 2 days.
Right. You really want to make sure stuff comes together on Monday, Tuesday, and even oftentimes late breaking stuff will come out on Wednesday. So you're able to still get it in before it goes to the printer and then is then delivered early Thursday mornings.
Right.
Which is critical. The U.S. Postal Service becomes such an important vehicle in getting the paper out timely for folks on Thursdays.
Yeah, that's working a lot better than it used to too. That's very good now.
Share with us about as you put together My Senior Moment each week, Betty. I know you said you're really waiting on deadline, waiting for something to really push you over the edge. And I know this morning, Wednesday morning, you'll be going from here back to the Herald to finish laying everything out. There's a lot of proofreading that's going on. Your editor and of course Andrea Wilkins, who's in there helping out to proofread, and then other levels of proofreading that have to happen today. But for you, is Wednesday mornings even? Are you going to be crafting the column, or did you do it last night? Normally?
No, I've got to have it finished. Well, I have put a paragraph or two on Wednesday mornings, which I don't like to do. But I normally sit down Tuesday morning. I don't come in till about lunchtime to work.
Right.
And I sit down, and sometimes I have no earthly idea what I'm going to write about. And you just sort of think about things, and all of a sudden it'll pop up. But it would be great if I had ideas and outlines and things prepared, but I don't. It's just rough.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden something will come to mind, and there we've got a column.
For folks who may not have seen My Senior Moment, are there some themes that you follow? Of course, we highlighted sometimes some things not to do, you said earlier here this morning. And real quick, if a viewer needs to get off to work now or get family off to school, is there a good phone number to find out where they can pick up a Herald, or can they go online to see your column?
You can go online at myrtlebeachherald.com,
Okay.
and My Senior Moments there, and there's also underneath the column there'll be back columns that you can read.
Great.
So you
back a number of weeks, even number of months to see past columns, My Senior Moment. Of course, folks wanted 843, is it the 626-3131?
They can call that number
to see about box locations, or they can go online to myrtlebeachherald.com. There's a link to where you can buy the Herald.
Right.
So they're great places. But are there some common themes, Betty, that you see that are relatively recurring? Do you highlight your family at all? Do you ever get into your 6 children or
well, I get into the
parents?
family, or I do talk about my dad a lot. My dad, I live with him, and he's 95. And
your father's 95, Betty. Wow.
Yes, and so I talk about him a lot, and then I've had people email wanting to know, how's your dad doing, if I haven't written about him in a while. I've had people inquire about him, which is great.
Yeah.